with it, and I make it pretty and put our stuff, you know, the Soulology in the beginning of it, and you know, I make it nice.
It is nice.
I mean, I came in on it. I had Kimberly watched it, and she says, "Well, I didn't understand at first because it was just me talking about it happening, right? This embodiment." And she said, "Did I miss something?" I tried to go back. I'm like, "Kimberly, it was with you and I, remember?"
Oh my God. We're live now. So let me go on to the phone so I can pull
on Facebook too?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. Yeah.
Wow, Facebook. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay! Good. I got all my beautiful tools here, all beautiful.
Excellent. Okay, it's working there. Michelle Whitfield, Mary Cooper, Jania Gaza, Tom White Bear, Lise, my friend from Stavanger, Norway, Shannon Karana, Kim Longo, Jill Nicholas, Casey Lee Hutchins. Okay, so let me just share it to the network, and we'll catch up. This time it worked. All right, we're good. What's happening?
Yay! Okay, who's coming in? Who's coming in? Okay, I'm coming.
Let's see here.
Okay, good. Okay, I need a drink of water. Drink of water, Devin.
I'm burning up all of a sudden.
Yeah, we got some energy coming in.
I had some come in this morning, and I had to lay down.
It just happened. The energies are barreling in now. Barreling in.
Okay, a couple more. All right, we're good. We got 58 people in the house. A bunch of other people came in. Robert Orth, Donna Davin, Paula Whitmarsh Atherton, Anastasia Campos. She says, Blueray, love and blessings. Thank you, Shekina. Kumara Ford, Heather Houston, Romana Freitas, Marianne Altericio, Ian Boldy, Richard Simonite, Marianne, Teresa Bogues, Terry Billette, many other people. They're coming in too fast. Welcome everybody to the show. 66 people in the house.
Okay. All right.
So we hadn't got together for quite a while. We got together a few days ago, and Facebook wouldn't let us on. This is my dear beloved sister, Shekina Rose, who I've met in person, who we're very connected to. I don't know at what level, but we're brother and sister to the core. And she's been doing this work in Sedona for 10 years, give or take. Working the land every day, connecting to galactics, angelics, divine essences, crystals, sifts, is that what they're called? Sifts, fairies, elementals, you name it. Doing the good work though, like a lot of sisters around the world doing the good work for many years before any of this became known.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I feel a strong connection today. I think you got some stuff to say about the Blueray. So welcome back to Soul Speaks 5D, my dear beloved sister, Shekina Rose.
Thank you, Tom. Oh, Tom. I have a lot of, you know what? I have a lot of Toms in my life.
It's close enough. It's close enough.
Wait. Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
You, Todd.
Very welcome.
Thank you so much. Just thank you for just everything that you are and all the energies that you're connecting into and bringing us together. And when I first saw you, what I loved so much about you is your ability to have this inner knowing, this heart connection of aligning out to others, and then bringing a voice to so many that would not have a voice, and that we need to see, like we need to see these other people. We need to see the other aspects.
Yeah.
We need to see the other works and what they're doing, because it's really about the collective.
Yeah.
And the collective work and the mission and the purpose that we've been on for some time, and for that all aligning, working together. Because I've noticed that in my life, and I do have Blueray, information that I share particularly about them, because I'm a Blueray star seed empath sensitive, and I didn't know I didn't know what I was when I was younger and when I was little, but I knew I was from the stars, and I didn't learn right, and I had like different connections. And I've shared this before that in 2008 I was fully downloaded that I was from the Blueray, and that was a download. And when I got the download, that meant that I understood the information back, forwards, before and through time. I embodied it. And then that's when I started sharing about the Blueray and their characteristics, their mission, their purpose, and ever since 2008. And then since then, it's such a delight, Todd, that to see so many people, so much Blueray information out there. There's so much Blueray information, and a lot of people don't know where it started, right? It started with myself. I was the first person to bring all of that information out. And since then, people have connected. And it is such a joy, and it's such a treasure, because it's such an amazing connection. And then continuously, I'm so tuned in to the Blueray consciousness and through my empathic connections through Mother Earth Gaia and the consciousness. So I'm bringing forth the latest information, because my purpose and my mission, part of it, Todd, is to assist the ultra-sensitive empath star seeds, particularly the Blueray, so that they don't shut down.
Yeah.
That they continue to be who they are in this world. Because it's not so easy to be an ultra-sensitive empath and starseed on this planet with all of the energies and all of the intensities. Because an empath is feeling and sensing, and a lot of times before we know what's happening, we're taking on the pain and the energy of others.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the Bluerays, we're natural transformers.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't know what's going on, and that's why we have to spend so much time by ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that is when we're able to totally transcend the energies and then come back into like our own divine alignment.
I just did that.
I guess I needed to do that, because I was all these different energies were coming in, and because I want to share about some of the because I didn't get to share last time.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
The Blueray, the energy, the symptoms, the ascension. Last time I talked about the embodiment of, because that was pretty recent, of the Devas, an Angelic Deva, embodying that. But what I also realized is that's what we do at the higher levels, Todd. This is not a natural. This is not a normal. Like when you get to higher levels and higher frequencies, and when you communicate and connect with these interdimensional, high, pure beings, ascended beings, a lot of times that's how we have our connection, our communion, is we merge our energies.
Yeah.
And and then we become a greater field.
Yeah.
A greater divinity. Like we're more used to that in our human form with the twin flames, which that is a whole thing in itself. And there's greater understanding that I'm knowing about that. So that's one area, and see, that's one area that the Blueray empath star seeds are so glorious at. We're so glorious at our sensory connection, empathic resonance awareness. And it is a phenomenal gift. It is an extraordinary divine spiritual power. Because this is another way that we know truth instantly. It's a language. We know truth instantly. Beyond words. We're feeling within our body. Our body is our barometer.
Yeah.
So for the Ascension Symptoms, because we're in another place again, Todd. We had 2012. And that was certainly an astrological, a celestial, a light worker alignment. Because what I know, what the Ascension process is about, is it's an ongoing. This is an ongoing movement that is happening through us. Like we're allowing this ascension movement through us as we align in with the cosmic and the galactic and the celestial energies, as we allow those energies to awaken these things, this our divine original blueprint. And as we collectively come together, we are the movement of ascension through us.
Yeah.
And it's a continued process. It's working through us. 2012 was so amazing, and we did phenomenal. And what's very interesting, because we're going into another one of those things again, the big shift and the big astrology, because this celestial astrology is working with us. We're going to 2020.
Yeah.
2020, and then to 2025, it's going to be one of those big shifts again. It's going to be like, okay, it's going to be a little bit more gradual, but we're at a whole other level.
Yeah.
You know, what we need to understand is that we made it.
Yeah.
We had a specific correlation, attunement, alignment to occur at 2012. And this is what I'm going to say. We did that.
Yeah.
And in 2012, and I think what people don't understand, of course, there was a lot of hype and there was a lot of more energy going on of what was expected to happen that didn't happen. However, I didn't feel some of the things were going to happen that a lot of people said were going to happen. I think what happened is that there was so much divinity and momentum building up to 2012 and everything that we did, that afterwards we kind of never came together to find out what happened.
Yeah.
And so there was almost, I saw in some communities and some people for some time as a letdown. And what I have seen, Todd, now, let's see, in 2019, I cannot believe the amount of people that awakened, fully awakened in 2012. Now, we didn't know that in 2012, right, because it was happening. You know, we were doing the work, and we knew we had to be at specific places upon the planet. We knew this was important. We knew we had to you know, be in a certain alignment within our own self and participate into certain connections and meditations. Many of us all over the planet. I was in Sedona.
Yeah.
That's big, but that's when I came to Sedona.
Yeah.
That's like, wow, that's when I came. And many other people came. So a lot happened. The people that I talked to today, some amazing people, you know, and they're at such a high level, they're such an amazing frequency, and they tell me, I awoken in 2012. And then another person will say, yeah, 2012, that's when I woke. 2012, I was like, wow. So we did it. We did so much. And so we're going into another big time. And we're going into a celestial planetary alignment with the cosmos that's working to help us to accept this and usher this in. But I feel what we need to know, Todd, is that we have already accomplished so very much.
Yeah.
All the beings watching right now, I think you have a couple people on that are on all the time. I think there's the woman from UK who she awoke in 2012. Mm-hmm. So much happened. So we've done well. However, we're at another place, and we are at this particular resonancy, this frequency. And there's a lot of shifts, and there's a lot of changes that we're going through. And one of the things that I want to share about is you're going to be working with a lot of different, you're going to be pulling together a lot of different elements. Okay. And a lot of different things that you've been working on, like this over here and this over here, they're going to start coming together and making more sense. And they're going to kind of blend. The other thing is that, again, which I love, is we're doing it with each other.
Yeah.
We're doing it in partners. We're doing it in groups. We're doing it through the twin flame energies. Twin flame energies, what I have known and seen, are a little different than a lot of how it's been portrayed over the years of the twin flame energy. However, and there's also, you have twin flame energies, very powerful souls that will come together. And you also have like the shadow twin. And a lot of beings out there probably know about what I'm talking about. Is the shadow twin. And, you know, the shadow twin is like your twin flame, that they're ushering in every darkness.
like the goddess Kali.
Yeah.
Like
that you can imagine. However, there's the most intense attraction and connection and spirituality connection that you've ever known in your life as well. So there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of variables to the twin flame that is occurring now that I didn't even know about. And that is that we can actually manifest and create our twin flame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that. And now this is direct intel you're getting too, right?
Yes. Now this is what I have known, what I've experienced, what I've come into, all the things that I'm sharing. I'm a little, Todd, I'm still kind of a little secluded out here.
Yeah, I understand.
In Sedona.
Believe me.
And I keep it that way. And
yeah.
I keep it that way to a certain extent, so that I can just be so tuned in. So if things come to me from the outside world, and they do, it makes a really big impact. So that you can manifest and create your twin flame. This is what I'm going to tell you at this particular venture. However, it takes work. It takes going beyond those perceptions and those parameters. And even, and I'm going to say this word because I don't know what any other words, because I didn't do any research. It goes beyond even the genitalia. Okay. Yeah. It goes beyond even male and female. However, it can be male and female.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that too. And you know, we're still kind of working through that, I think.
Yeah.
That male and female thing, and but we can create that, and you have to go beyond your perceptions, and it is some work.
Yeah, it is.
It is a higher acceptance of this other being. I mean, at a really high level, and you gotta let go of a lot of the perceptions and a lot of what you thought how it was going to be. You got to align to like the highest vision of this individual, and both of you have to continuously hold this higher vision with each other.
Yeah.
And continuously see like the highest good, the beauties, and be like in honoring and in gratitude, and just keep seeing and experiencing that in this other individual.
Yeah.
And it may sound simple or small, but let me tell you, it's not.
I can tell you.
And you continuously do that. You continuously do that.
Yeah.
And you continuously stay here for as long as you can.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you the secret.
The thing is, we talk about this. Morgan and I talk about this. The journey of the individual is what you're describing. What you're describing is the same thing that each individual does, which is to let go of absolutely every conception, every identity, every label, every role, every single thing, every belief. And to us, the divine conscious union, it is a lot of work. It is worth it. It's just like our individual journey. It's always hands-on, growth every day. And you just go through it with another person as opposed to yourself. And it's like nothing you can imagine. It's just, but everything has to be stripped away. Every single thing has to be stripped away. Every single conception, including genitalia, including sexuality, including anything from where we've been, because it's mind-blowing. Some of the things that we've experienced, and they're not of this world.
They're not of this world, and they're out of this world. And I know that you're doing this, Todd. And you're doing it on quite a level. I mean, you're doing it with, in a male and female, relationship, a married couple, a male and female, and that it's a lot. It's a lot to do. The higher beings are loving this conversation.
Good.
They're just pouring forth the energies, and you're bringing forth a template.
Yeah.
And a frequency. It's really, really important at this time. This other way that you can bring in your twin flame is meditating with at the highest place, with the divine, with the highest level. Every single day meditating at the highest level, choosing one time. And this is a lot of work. This may seem like a lot of work, but if you want very powerful results and you want a twin flame relationship, you can now have that. And it can be women to women. It doesn't necessarily always have to be the romantic male and female relationship. That's what I'm going to share to you.
Yeah.
However, it can be the male and female relationship as well. Like I think probably more of what you and Morgan have, because you're a married couple, and living your life together. But there's more options now. There's more connections. There's more options now, and that's what I want to kind of share too, is some of the things of we're gonna be being challenged. Okay, so right now, 2020, we're gonna hit an apex. Then we're gonna continue to ride, and then like more stuff is gonna come up. More stuff is gonna come up, and more things are gonna be challenged, and more things are gonna be challenged within the spiritual new age, whatever community this is, whatever we call it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm a part of. I don't know. I'm an angelic. I'm a star seed. I don't know. But there's also things that we've been taught, or it's been passed around. It's not necessarily in the new age and spiritual community. That's not going to hold anymore either. That's not going to serve us either. And so for that's where that empathic resonance.
Yeah.
It's like you have a truth barometer.
Yeah.
Like if there was like a little knob that went like this, this is not truth.
Like this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because it's not always going to come through the words.
No, I think
words are not always resonating with what a person's true intention is.
Yeah,
it's not always happening, and
that's right.
That's throughout the whole entire world of everything. our foods we eat, the products, the institutions, all of it. And so we're going to be in a very large time of discerning.
Yeah.
A huge time of discerning, and we're going to have to like let go of everything, it's going to be a lot, in a way that every institution,
yeah,
everything,
every social circle,
everything,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's we're already seeing hints of that,
Yes.
For sure. And I put up a meme today because I was contemplating on. I was like, it's in these energies, it's a good time to think about who's telling you what about who and why, and who's not. And then I put hashtag ego talks, hashtag soul walks. And what I mean by that is that the words are becoming less and less meaningful unless they are in close alignment or near perfect alignment with truth. And everything that we spit out of our mouths gets a little bit tainted, especially the longer we talk. It's just the way it is. Our mind creeps in no matter who we are a little bit. But I would just say, that would be one thing. I think one thing about this year, what's happening, especially with feminine such as you, are speaking up more. They're coming out and they're speaking their truth. But there's a difference between speaking your truth and speaking it at the expense of somebody else. The truth does not judge. The truth just states the truth. The truth is, Shekina received this download. I'm going to share it with you. This is a transition we're in, and we're moving to a wordless realm, basically. And like you said, we have that truth barometer, and nobody can convince an empath, let's use that word, a super empath, a Blueray, or every single 8 billion people on the earth, because they have it in them. Nobody can convince somebody which way their barometer needs to go. We're moving into empowering ourselves versus giving our power over. And the days of giving our power over to the old paradigm, bless it, bless the yogi guru paradigm, bless where we came from, are over. It's over. It's a new day. Somebody said yesterday, in trying to describe these groups, it's the heartfelt community, heart-based community, as opposed to light worker. I like that one.
So do I. I've been working through the higher heart for so long, and every single session I do, we always do an alignment, attunement of the heart. That's how before I do any attunement, before I bring anything forth, we take our higher heart and we go up to our higher mind, our third eye. We actually touch them, and we feel an alignment. And then once that alignment happens, then we can go on and bring in the attunement. It's interesting what you're sharing, Todd. I've seen this in my own self, and it's interesting how you're seeing how the sacred divine feminine and actual particular women, that we're sharing more of our truth.
Yeah.
And it's who we are, and it's what we need to share, and it's expanding. And I would say also that there's so much Blueray expansion happening as well. I see it in myself. I see how where I was a little bit more like this, or a little bit more like inward, and I see how like the energy is just opening up. There's like more of a platform, and it's on many levels, but it's almost energetically too. Yeah. And I see how I can share more, and I can connect out more, and how and in that I'm seeing how, wow, look at how all this fits together.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that, and how some of it was me. Like I was holding back, and I was not, I was a little bit like here, and I wasn't opening up the field. And as I opened up the field, it was like, oh, well, this all fits together, like so beautifully, and allowing the energy to expand. So that is some of the things that's going to be happening I talked about the Blueray Wanderers just recently. I've known about them for a very long time.
What is that? Blueray Wanderers. What is that?
Yeah, Blueray Wanderers. I just put that on YouTube, and I kind of did like a test. I'm like, I'm just going to share about this. I mean, I've known about this for a long time, and so many people connected. So the Blueray Wanderers are, now Bluerays are water. Okay, they work through the element of water. They work through the element of flow. They work through the element of deep emotion. You can feel so deeply, and again, it's such a beautiful gift. Please don't shut it down. It's a beautiful thing. And so what happens is, we call it the Blueray Wanderer stage, is it's kind of twofold. Sometimes we spend our time looking for the home frequency, and sometimes the Blueray Wanderer, what happens is, okay, it's happening. It's time. It's time for you to move. It's time for you to connect to the sacred sites, to certain particular areas on the planet that have a certain divinity, vortex. It's an ancient, it's their portals, their vortex, their ley lines. They have ancient energies, exchange, interdimensional portals. It's where the veils are thinner.
Yeah.
It's also places where there's more of a stronger, still indigenous connection from the peoples. Let's say like Sedona and
or Kauai,
the Native American.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a time where you don't feel, and it's like, it's nothing that you kind of did.
Yeah.
It's like something that comes into alignment within your soul, and you're being called to leave where you are, because you don't feel the resonancy anymore.
Yeah.
And you're being called to a certain particular area. And it's usually a vortex, it's a sacred site.
Yeah.
And I wrote about this actually today, and I'm going to be putting it out as a channel, because I wrote about the places that a lot of times the people will particularly go, that they'll be drawn to go, and they'll be to live. And sometimes they'll live for 6 months, years, longer, shorter. They'll for a shorter amount of time, a longer amount of time. Like Sedona is one of them. The people will come to Sedona. They'll stay for 6 months. They'll stay for a year, 2 years. My one friend just left. She was my anchor. She's been here for, I don't know, 8 years. But it was for her time to go.
Yeah.
But you come to this area, and what's happening is you're making a very powerful sacred exchange within the land, within the vortexes, within their interdimensionals, and within your own self. And you have an awakening. And it's like an acceleration that happens.
Yeah.
And an increased synchronistic meetings, connections, all start taking place.
Yeah.
And they're usually at the ancient sacred sites. Sedona is one. It's a huge one. Hawaii and the islands is one. There's also, and Mount Shasta is one. There are many. They're in England. They're in Ireland.
Yeah.
They're the ones of the sacred divine feminine. And you'll have to travel for a while. And sometimes you won't even know you're home until because you're going to find it through traveling.
Yeah.
And then you'll stay there for a while, then you'll pick up, and then you'll go to another place. So it's like it's a time period where you have to make these divine alignments.
So when these souls, when these individuals go from place to place, they're activating. Are they activating, or I think you said an exchange? It's more like a sharing, but they're going as a result of that sharing. Is it lighting up the grid more?
Yes, and you could also call them grid workers. There's many grid workers that are, and they're just doing their work, and they're going to all these particular places, and they're working with the ley lines, and they're making the connections, and it's both. Some are specific grid workers, and they know they're grid workers, and then they have to go to this place, and they have to do this particular adjustment. Sometimes you're called to live at a certain place, as to be an anchor at that particular place for that period of time. Now, I am very much that. I've done that a lot. I did it when I was in Florida, in South Florida. I was there for 10 years, and I knew that I was not going to stay there. I knew it wasn't my home. However, I had to wait. I had to wait till I did all my work. I had all these soul contracts. So sometimes you'll go to a place and you'll do a whole bunch of soul contracts. And if you do it and you make the connections, then you get to leave.
Yeah.
And like you get to graduate.
Yeah.
And so I had to wait a whole 10 years. I went there and I knew that I would come back home, and home would be the Southwest.
Yeah.
But I had to wait. And I literally had to wait until I finished up all my contracts.
Yeah.
And all these things happened. And Mother Earth Gaia called me. She literally called me to Sedona. And then everything kind of opened up and fit into place so that I could come out here.
I can relate.
I know you can relate. And there's this wonderful thing, Todd, you'll love this. You're going to love this. So, and this is not because you did it, okay? When I first moved here, I remember people talking about the Sedona, Hawaii connection.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Kimberly, Sedona, Hawaii connection. A woman in the store the other day, I'm not going to mention her name. She just came back from Hawaii. And a lot of times people will just keep going back and forth, just back and forth, back and forth. Hawaii, Sedona. So, but it's a particular alignment from Sedona to Hawaii, Hawaii to Sedona, because those are specific particulars. And to Mount Shasta. Sometimes they'll fit in Mount Shasta in there. But you would be so surprised at the numerous amount of people from Sedona to Hawaii. Now, I have done that, and I did that even prior to Florida. And I had to go to all these different places and make all these connections and the good work line. And then I was stationed in South Florida for 10 years. And then I knew when I came here. And Todd, that's why I don't like go places and travel, because I did so much of that.
Yeah.
I did so much the good work, and I went here and I went there. And when I was in South Florida, major things happened when I was there. We had huge, huge shifts. We had 3 hurricanes. 3 hurricanes hit my city.
Wow.
And that was really tough. Let me tell you, that was really tough on a Blueray empath, because what happened is it needed it. It shook up the energy so intensely, and so much anger came up. And I had to actually leave for a while. I couldn't take it there. I went to Germany. I lived in Germany.
Wow.
Because I couldn't take it. But then I had to come back to this place. So that's a Blueray wanderer. And there's just it's a time.
Yeah.
It's a time when you're called to certain areas.
Yeah.
It's a time when sometimes you're not going to have a real home. Like your home is where you're traveling to at the time.
Where your suitcase is.
Yes. And it's huge. It's a huge time where you shift your energy in ways that you couldn't have imagined before, because the synchronicities are increasing, and the people and the connection, and because you're like a human acupuncture point almost. Like there's things that are happening, through you. Now, not everyone is like that, but I have to say a lot of Bluerays are like that. Will go through a particular period of their lives where they're being called to go to these different places to live, or they don't know where they're supposed to live because this place isn't resonating with them anymore. Yeah. And they're so powerfully sensitive. You're so powerfully sensitive.
Or for me, it describes my journey. But I never thought about it that way. But there was obviously places I went that were portals, you know, whether it was in New York City or in the mountains in Arkansas, or living in a pyramid in South Florida for a while. Yeah. Yeah. So, but
You lived in South Florida for a while?
yeah.
And a pyramid?
Yeah. I lived in the pyramid for 9 days and I fasted for 3. Yeah. It was a geometric construction. It had all this. It was like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Wow.
I lived like that, what you're describing. I just didn't know, you know, but it makes sense to me. And I guess what I was saying is, even if the universe supports you, not only are you told where you get to go, but the universe supports it. And I think looking back, it was very difficult on the human being aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really was. But I think things are easier now. I do think things are easier now because of what, you know, people like you've done and many other people. You see a lot of people moving around right now just to go. There's a group of ladies that went to Peru. Grace Solaris and Stellar Farbrain, they went to, I think, Ireland or Scotland. A lot of people are doing that. I just saw a picture of some friends in Israel. They put up a post today. Thank you, Soulogy. Some of us got together here in Israel. You know, so there's that stuff happening too, like you're talking about. Not only is it the geography or the location, but it's also these people that you meet and things that happen in your favor. It's definitely not a normal thing in the you know, the rearview mirror of where we've been. But I think it's some of us maybe are getting used to it, and therefore it'll be easier to assimilate you know, in a wider way through the collective.
Yes. There's a couple of symptoms, ascension symptoms that I went through, that other people went through, that I just kind of want to share because they're kind of the big deal. And this is what I'm going to call it. It's kind of like the phantom death. And it's an ascension symptom. And it's when your energy body really, really shifts. So in the beginning of the year, I think it was in the beginning, I can't even tell time anymore. Maybe it was in the beginning of the year. I'm not sure. But it was so interesting. Very many of us were going through this thing. So I'm sharing this because it was really intense for many people. And it was really interesting because none of us were really telling each other because it was so intense.
When was this? First of the year?
I think it was in the first of the year, or the
that
end
would make
of the year.
sense. That would make sense. January was very, very intense for us.
What?
Here on Kauai, me and Morgan, yeah.
Was it?
It was, yeah, the whole month. In fact, we landed in this place on February the 4th.
Okay.
So essentially from mid-December to February 3rd, we were all over the place, but most of that time was in January, and we had some incredible times, including that portal that appeared over where we were staying, and we put pictures up, among other things.
Yes. Well, you still may go through this because what's happening, like even astrologically, Kimberly was talking about that. She does amazing Sedona star astrology. It's incredible, her astrology. And she was talking about that a lot of us just went through this major 8-year cycle. And I was one of them. But now other people are going to be going through this cycle. So now there's a whole new group that's going to go through this. And so what we were going through is that we felt like, I know this sounds like a lot, but we thought we were going to die. And because our energy body was reacting so differently. I remember I was laying on the bed, and I felt my energy body like I had never felt my energy body before. It was like my energy body had come up above me, and I was feeling it differently than I ever had before. And I felt like my energy body was just going to take off, and I wasn't in control of it. And at the same time, a lot of us were going through really intensity on like real physical, real difficult, challenging things, nerve stuff. I remember I had a pinched nerve in my back, which I've never had that. It was like really severe. Some of us was like feeling down to the bone, like we were feeling it in our bones, like that we thought we were dying, because I don't mean to laugh, but because we're over it, but we were feeling so in our bones, like our bones were aching, and we were feeling like we were like 150 years old, and when we weren't. And but we all got through it. It was a very interesting time. And I even had,
that was going back 8 years. Is that what you're saying? Or was
no. This just happened. This just happened at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So I even had clients. I remember having clients at the same time. Now I had just gotten through mine. And I remember having a client, and she says to me, you're booking me for like a whole week. And that's really soon for me. Booking a whole week, that's real soon for me. And she says, well, I don't think I'm going to be around. I may die. And because I'm going through all this stuff. And I tuned into her energy, and I said, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. You're going through this very much intense energies. And so we did have our session, and it was fine, and we got through it. So, but there's a period where now I always say, please check in. You may need to go to your healthcare practitioner. And I have different naturopathic remedies. I do natural doctors and different things at different times. There's all kinds of different things. So do go and seek help, or at least, tell another person, because there were many of us. It was really kind of cute. There was many of us that were being really quiet about it. And we were afraid. Some of us were afraid we were going to leave the planet. But secretly, I remember telling one of my friends, I said, gosh, I feel like I'm going to die. My energy's like this. And at night, I'm just going to take off. I feel like I've never felt this way before. I'm outside my body. And I know in any moment I'm going to take off. But I don't know if I'm going to come back. And then this person shared, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going through this too, but this is what I'm going through. And then I heard another person, then another person. So this is something, and it's because it's like you're having an energetic auric transition. It's like you're having a transition. That's an interesting word. Energetic transition. But you're probably not leaving. You're probably going to be staying here. It's just a shift. Now, for all of us, I also want to say, for all of us, it didn't last a really long time. So if this ever lasts a long period of time, if this ever lasts like, weeks on end, please go to your healthcare, provider, whoever that is. But it didn't last that long. But when it was going on, it felt really extreme and really powerful. So we're having so many, we're still having so many shifts, Todd.
Yeah.
So many, like actual physical resonancy awareness, ascension symptoms shifts.
Yeah.
We're so brave and we're so courageous because we just don't know, we don't know the other side. We're so brave and courageous and precious and beloved just for coming here, Todd.
That's right.
I mean, really, all the Bluerays, all of us coming here and going through the veil.
Yeah.
We're like, that's amazing. Like, we're going to be totally cut off. Like, we're going to it's like we're landing in a complete foreign land.
Yeah. We
don't have any connections. They're all gone.
It's like we're going. You parachuted in with a little toolbox.
Yes, and we're all, and we're just all such beautiful spirits because I have to tell you, because so many people want to go home. They want to go home, and let me tell you, you'll be home soon enough. We're such connected, gorgeous, beautiful, beloved beings, Todd.
Yeah.
We just could not know what it was like once we came and we hit the veil.
Yeah.
We just didn't know. And we were so powerful. We were so equipped in every single way that we knew that we could do this.
Yeah.
And that we had absolutely every single thing, every single quality that was required and that was needed.
Do you think that when you go back to January and you're talking about the things that were happening with the body, to me, it's like we were lighter. You were lighter, and you're talking about like leaving your body when you go to sleep. Do you think that that's going to be more enhanced, or when we go into dream state, have full memory of what we're doing multidimensionally? Full recall. I'm going to sleep now. I'm leaving my body. I'm going into dimension, which we know we do that, and we have some fuzzy memories of it sometimes when we wake up.
I feel yes and no. Some are. It's also part of your mission and your purpose. Some have more recollection of this than they did before.
Yeah.
And across the board, yes.
Yeah.
Across the board, and across the board too. The other thing that's happening in our dream state that I love, it's been happening for a while, like years now, is that we're really working with each other on the other levels.
Yeah, I can see that.
In the dream state, because I'll have people like email me and call me, and I think you said something to me like, I dreamt about you. People who don't know each other, they're dreaming about each other and they're working together.
Yeah.
Even if they can't come together, they don't live in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing so much because we're such divine masters.
Yeah.
We certainly are. And what you said about, we've become lighter.
Yeah.
I've noticed a huge shift since January for myself personally.
Yeah.
I've become so much lighter since January. I mean, January was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Put on the bricks or something. like the energy body was like heavy, because you go through that every once in a while.
Yeah.
Where the energy body's so heavy.
That was heavy. That was heavy.
Heavy.
But it seems to me this year that, for me anyway, it's been there has been little fragments of recollection, but the knowing that I've been really busy at times for 2-3 weeks at a time in the ethers and dream state, really busy. And then what you said about we're communicating, obviously we're communicating in what we call dream state, and it's like the memory or the feeling or the impression of those communications come out the next day. I mean, it happens to me in my work, and I observe it in other people. Other people talk about it. But just like that friend I was telling you that I'm going to introduce you to, she dreamt of you, and so I mean, there's, without even knowing who you were until she saw you on the show.
That happens.
Yeah.
That's happening, and people don't know this person, or they get this name and they'll research it and they'll make the connection. This year, thus far, it always goes by really quick. I can't imagine that we're going to be we're in May and we're going to be in June, but this year has been incredibly amazing and life altering, probably forever, because of the the Devas, the angelic Devas, and working with the Sylphs and the Devas and the crystals, and working with the elements. There's as we we're going to have different ways in which we're going to continue on with our mission, and we're going to help. And I am just I feel so much more joy.
Yeah.
I can tell you that, with being a part of, because this is what happens is that we're coming into less separation.
Yeah.
Okay, Todd, and the way, we had those words. We have these words, these concepts that we haven't fully downloaded yet, or we haven't become it yet.
Yeah.
Oneness, unity, connection. I'm starting to experience that.
Yeah.
But not in ways that I thought.
Exactly.
Working with the water, knowing who the water is, the crystals, and how the crystals work with the devas, and the nature elements, and these very high, pure beings. They are pure beings that still hold this gorgeous information, wisdom for humanity. They still do. They exist. And, I was feeling in the crystals. The crystals, they resonate out. They have the crystals. They have this pure energy.
Yeah.
They still have, regardless of what's happened with our consciousness with humanity. These white light crystals still have pure divinity energy. They have this for us. So that's a part of us. Like, I am more crystal. I've become more crystalline within my blood, within my being, by working with the crystals. That means that I have a greater resonancy to work with these crystals, and to work with all of the crystals. And to work with all of the crystals in this land, Todd.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised a week ago or a couple of weeks ago when I was meditating, and and I love the crystals so much. I can't help it, because it's like I'm one with them. And I'm meditating, and I'm holding my crystal that I hold my crystal every night, and I meditate. And I said, I love you, crystals. I love you. And I heard them. I heard all the crystals reverberating like an echo. I love you. And it freaked me out at first.
Was that right?
It freaked me out. Yes.
Well, how long ago was this?
This is only a couple of weeks ago. Because this is after I embodied the Angelic Deva angel, and I heard him. Wow. I saw him. All the crystals are reverberating just what I said. On and on and on and on and on through all the crystals. Wow. And I took back, and I went, wow. So you know what that is? You know how extraordinary that is? Yeah. This is what we talk about, of, our words create reality and instant manifestation. This is what's happening. This is what's happening, Todd. This is where we're going, is our words in alignment of connection with our higher heart are instantly manifesting. And we're seeing what we're creating more quickly. And we're becoming, hopefully, better creators upon this planet, and knowing our divine power. I mean, working with the crystals and working with the water, I see the water and the crystals, and I am working with that. And I'm working with the energies that's coming forth, and some things have come to my attention, because we do, Todd, we talk about the two different timelines. Todd, there is. Yeah. And it's by the choices and the energy frequency that you're on. Yeah. And you know how we know that, Todd? Because it's extremely evident in our world. Now, I'm not on the computer. I don't know what's going on, but I do know what's going on. certain ways because certain energies will come to me. Like all the people that are taking their lives. I don't know why, but that's coming to me. And I'm being alerted of that. And I'm being alerted of certain things. So there's different timelines. And there is the new earth. We are in the new earth, and we're creating the new earth. We're on it. However, there's a lot of people that are not on it. They don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
They're having a hard time. And so what I'm doing is I am working with the water and the sylphs and those divine beings with the crystals to assist with clearing the thought forms and working with, yes, I've got I got the technologies from the Devas. The Devas gave me the technologies to work within the water, to work within the own biological system of your water, and working with the thoughts. Because the sylphs help. This is interesting. So you know that we're told, and I believe this, that they're not going to necessarily do things just for us. The pure beings, these devas, these sylphs, they are pure energy beings. But they're not going to just arbitrarily go around and do things. It's like everybody has this purpose.
Yeah.
When I go down to the water now, I'm more connected to nature. I have more resonancy to commune and connect with them. When I go down to the water, I get the water. I get it. It's like the water is the water. It's supposed to be the water. Now, it's not going to arbitrarily just transform itself. It's I don't know if I can just describe this right. Because it's like this is who it is. It's like a bee is a bee. And it's going to be a bee, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the water is going to be the water. But we can shift and transform that water. And by us working with the water consciously through the devas, we can shift the water and work with the different beings.
Yeah.
But a lot of the water, sadly to say, has been polluted. And a lot of the water is not pure and alive. And that affects us in a huge, big, tremendous way. However, we have the divinity and we have the power to shift that. Yeah. And it's easier than we think, Todd.
Yeah, I believe you.
It's easier than we think. Now, working with the beings and being at such, because I'm at a heightened state with the devas, with the crystals. They reverberate love, because I love them every night. I love them every night. I can't. It's like they're different to me. They're alive. They're living beings. I see that. I feel that. This is the heightened states that we're getting to. This is what I feel is ascension.
Yeah. It's
not like we're just going to be off in some cloud, going oh. It's not how it's going to be. This is what I feel. It's going to be more miraculous and more wonderful than you think.
Because we're going to be doing it.
We're doing it.
We're actually going to be making use of the energy available. So the ascension isn't really going to be happening to us. Well, I guess in a way, but we're actually making it happen, but actually in a conscious level in the moment. I think that's what you're describing. The other thing you were talking about is the instant manifestation, which people have been talking about that. Morgan's been experiencing it here, like I want some curtains. We walk into this place, there's these curtains brand new and in this resale shop, and it happened again and again and again. But and that's just a small example, but I've seen it happening since I've been in Kauai. But what you said, because I think we have been manifesting, maybe not as instantly, but we have been manifesting both unconscious and conscious, right?
Yes.
In alignment and out of alignment. And now what I like about what you said, what I like about what you said is that when it comes to being in alignment, you're having instant manifestation. And it's right there. The proof is in your hands. It's much faster than, to me anyway, my experience with unconscious and out of alignment, the manifestations that would come. You know, almost like the universe will give you a chance. Okay, you sure you want to keep doing that? You sure want to keep doing that? You sure want to keep doing that? And then boom, it hits you. And where the other side of it, what we're walking in, seems it is instant. It's instant.
Yes. I love how you put that, Todd. We're becoming conscious of our manifestations.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we've been raising our vibration. It's like, what does this mean, raising our vibrational frequency? We have the words. We're all like, we got to raise our vibrational frequency. That's what we got to do. Right? And this is what it is. This is raising our vibrational frequency. And when we raise our vibrational frequency, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Is but we have more power, we have more divinity. And this is the thing too. I've experienced more joy than I ever have. More recently, in the last year, more joy.
Yeah.
And it's not because of, that I have my life perfect. Okay, you know, because I probably would have it differently perfect. I would have it perfectly different. I would, right? I would have this, you know, you'd have all these things. But there's this joy. There's so much more joy. So that is a part of ascension and raising your vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah.
Joy is amazing. We need to have more joy, Todd.
Yeah.
We have to share in the joy.
Yeah.
We have, because there's a lot of people on this planet. There's a whole other thing going on this planet. They're not having joy at all.
Yeah.
They're having the absolute opposite.
True. And it's not hard to detect in yourself if you're in joy or not. And it's not hard to correlate what our thoughts, words, and actions are with the feeling that we have. So in other words, whatever energy we're putting out in thoughts, words, and or actions, is it in joy? Is it a frequency of joy? It's no different than you going to bed at night and saying to your crystals, I love you, and then hearing them say it back. Well, if you're out there, you know, comparing or projecting or whatever it is, whatever word you want to use, is it the energy of joy? Or is it the energy of something else? Because there's only one something else, and that's either joy or it's not joy.
Yeah.
And so I think it's easier for us to be conscious of the connection between what our words, thoughts, and or actions are, and then just say, okay, how do I feel? Because you might feel a little joy, but if it doesn't last, then it wasn't joy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too is I think we're also in a place where we don't have to point fingers at others, and really more importantly, we don't have to point fingers at ourselves, and we can forgive ourselves quicker.
Yes.
Because we're learning quicker, we're expanding quicker, we're coming into that knowing quicker, and I think with that too, we realize that we can turn the page at any time and not hold anything that's occurred against ourselves or against others. You know?
Yes. Beautifully put, Todd. Okay, we're being asked. We're going to be asked to be stepped up a little bit. We're going to be asked. Bluerays. I'm telling you, we're stepping up. Remember what you were talking about? I didn't understand what you were talking about when you were saying the Bluerays getting squeezed in or tightening or something. You were saying that. And I was like,
yeah, that was a couple of shows ago. What I was saying is that, and that's like, there's a grid, and in that grid, there's X number of, you know, lines, you know, that intersect. But within that grid, there's like a foundational grid. And I kind of saw it as like this big silver grid or gold grid, and then these blue lines that were the foundation of it within the grid. And that the tightening was that more and more of us were coming together, one way or the other, be it astrally or physically or visually or whatever it may be, or both. And now with this transmission you just put out on YouTube and what we're talking about, I'm really feeling that. I'm also feeling that, yeah, we are being asked to step up now, but there's a big difference between what's happening now than when we were asked to step up before. Because when we were asked to step up before, there was a lot of challenges, obstacles, pain, suffering. Like you said, a lot of us wanted to go. But now what's happening is that instant manifestation, that alignment, that higher vibrational frequency is reciprocated immediately, virtually. And it helps us to stay in the moment and also embedded in our mission, because that's part of that frequency. I think is we have more confidence in what our role is in our mission, and we go forth with that and do our part.
Yes, I'm so happy that oh, you're so sweet. Oh, Deva, we're all in our places with bright shining faces. So that's what we have a cutie here. They're so pure. They're so divine. Some of them, and I'm so happy that you are in your space, because you know there was a time where Blueray Wanderers. There was a time where I came to Sedona. And I was called to come to Sedona, and I didn't know Sedona. I wasn't one of those people that, we were visiting back and forth, and I know the area. It's like, no. She called me. I did have a place very temporary for a few months, and I came. That's it.
Yeah.
It was my time, and that's a lot. That's a lot, and I've anchored myself here now, and the land here is extraordinary, and it's a part of me, and. Well, I'm really happy that you have your space. You're there. Like, I'm happy you're in Hawaii right now, and you have a space, and you're kind of anchoring in for the next space, because we do need to be in our places upon the planet. That is energetically in alignment with us, where we have been called to be. And you're there. And you did Sedona for 6 months.
Yeah, I got initiated.
You got it, and you know it's hard to describe. Someday I may share about what it's really like to be in Sedona.
It's a multi-dimensional spaghetti bowl highway intersection, like you see in the big cities. So you have all the roads coming together. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Morgan and I being here, representing what we represent, our piece of the big cosmic puzzle. It has something to do with what you were saying earlier, and many of us going to different points on the Earth grid. And I think another way to look at what I was saying about the Blueray network tightening up is to actually look at the physical location of the Bluerays around the world. If I can just think of quite a few people. I can think of Amanda Lawrence is at the tour in Glastonbury.
Right. Yes.
Others are at Mount Shasta. You're in Sedona with many others.
Who's in Mount Shasta?
Many people are. Sandra Walters.
Yes. I think Sandra Walters.
Walters. But there's a lot of others there too.
Right. A lot of other ones. Yes. Yeah.
So, but I think that's if you look at that and you put the points on the Earth grid, I mean, it would. That's what I see. I see like these points. So it's like a foundational. It's in the structure of the grid, but it's the foundational support of the full grid. I don't know.
Yes.
That's just my take on it, and I only remember that because you brought it up, and I remember seeing that 2 shows ago. But I think these things that you're saying, they really resonate, such as the instant manifestation, such as the relocating. Such as the wave that hit us in January, because for everybody, January, everyone that I seem to observe and talk to, they went through the same thing. It was physical in one way or the other.
Yes.
It was very physical. Many people got sick. Both of us got sick. There was a lot of purging. There was a lot of initiation, I think. But something's different in the air now, because it's not like last year. It's not like the year before. It's not like all those other years for so many of y'all who've been doing it so long. It is more joyful. And that more joyful is taking a little getting used to, because it's like not going away. You know, it's like, what do I need to do to contribute to this and keep this going, and not have thoughts like, okay, when's the shoe going to drop, or what's going to happen? What do I got to do? And I really think that we have to always continue doing what we're doing, growing. But I think in this case, the difference is we've done the work, and we're being reciprocated now. That's just the way it was planned, I guess. We had to be in the space we were in the previous years, but now it's like we're the living example of an energy that's contagious, and others will pick up on it, whether we say it or we don't say it. We just live it, you know?
Yes. And I'm continuously, I'm a Blueray transformer, empath. So I'm always transforming. And to a certain, I think I've finally accepted that I'm always shifting.
Yeah.
I'm water. And that's why I love being in the desert, where it's really powerful and strong, because I got enough water. I am continuously, Todd, working on my evolution. Very much so. Every single day. And it's being actually accelerated. It's been accelerated this year through others. We're working at a very high level. We're just working at it. We're just working. I'm just working. And you're right, too, is this year, I really remember last year really well, because that's when the crystals first came. Mm-hmm. And February is when the crystals started to sing and manifest and talk to me. And they haven't stopped, but it's just expanded. But this year, it was like, last year it was a very inward year for the first 6 months. This year, it was like it started, and it just opened up, and it never stopped. It wasn't like a slow period. That didn't happen for me. Like I've never had the slow period. Mm-hmm. The first 6 months of last year, I was very much inward last year. And I was just communing with the crystals every single day. I still commune with the crystals, but I'm at a different level with them, because the devas, some of the angelic devas, they have come, and now the technologies to assist us to work with our water, work with our food, work with our grounding. And I just got this one. I'm so
that's a new one. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
It's like, ooh, it's grounding, and it works with the power of the sun. Solara. I called sun Solara. It's a real deity. There's been some different deities that I've faced on. We're just so connected that I've been working with. Wow. And working through me and helping me with my energy. It's been fabulous. But the crystals are in here. These are the inner earth crystals. Inner earth crystals are in here, and it's a technology, but it's a really grounding, very powerful one.
You got 3 of them now you've designed? Are these, do you cast a mold and make them, or how do you do that?
Yay. I get them. Yeah. I get the pipe, and I do like a whole ascension. I do a whole process, a whole technology. Yeah. To prepare, the pipe, the copper. And
you downloaded this information. I remember you told me last time.
Yes. Well. This is what they're telling me. I became a part of it. Mm-hmm. I became a part of the understanding. I became a part of the technology, and it happened when through the devas, through the crystal devas, through their communication, and this was just kind of a tool, a technology where we could work more, have it kind of like an interface. I mean, we already have the interface of the crystals that are manifest. I mean, these are large crystals.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that.
Let me see that closer.
This is, can you see?
Yeah. Is that what kind?
It's like, but it's all white.
Yeah, I was going to say, what kind of crystal is that? It looks like
it's a white crystal, and all inside of here is like all white. It's all like crystals, all crystalline. This is the dolphin one. I will show you the sylph one. It's raw. This is my sylph. It's such a beautiful. It's a sylph crystal, and the sylphs actually started to. This is the way that they can communicate. They communicate through the crystals. The sylphs started coming, like all the sylphs came and connected with this crystal. It's so beautiful. And now I have the first sylph crystal, and so I have other crystals I'm going to have, and they'll be attuned to the sylphs. And so and the sylphs works. They're like angelic angels of the air, and we're working together because we're working to clear the conscious thoughts. They'll clear the conscious thoughts.
In other words, the chatter.
They'll clear they'll clear negative energies.
Yeah.
They'll clear negative thoughts.
Yeah.
They'll clear the toxins in the air. Yeah. They'll work with our environment. But we have to work with them. They're not necessarily going to arbitrarily just do things.
Yeah.
So I'm working specifically with some technologies, that you can that you'll be able to hold, that you'll be able to put just little ones to activate certain things, and to clear, like it'll uplift your thoughts. There's going to be one that's going to be really simple. They're just going to uplift your thoughts, because I want more people to have them in this world, because as more people have them, they're going to uplift their own thoughts, the individual, but they'll help with the whole entire environment. These white light crystals work with the whole entire environment. It's like a purification. It raises the frequency, and they do not lose the resonancy. It's like they're amazing, Todd. They've been here this whole time.
Yeah.
On the planet, just waiting for us to say, "Oh, wow, look at you."
Yeah.
And yes, let's, we have a purpose upon this planet, and how beautiful. And they're kind of here to assist us.
A lot of times we think of the star family, assistance, and all that, but like we were talking about last time, there's a lot of family right before our eyes, right here in the physical hard matter, the elementals, the trees, the water.
Yes.
Now, you in terms of your latest transmissions and downloads of your intel, aside from the Blueray, well, you shared the Blueray Wanderer thing, but that's something you already had. But as far as the Blu-rays, you're going to be asked to step up again. And I'm just going to kind of summarize it, and then you can expand it, correct it, and then there's a question at the end. But so the Blu-rays are going to be asked to step up again, understanding that it's quite obvious that we are in this higher alignment, and we're having support that's, I'm going to say, irrefutable. And so it's a little easier this time, this call. You also said that there was an 8-year period. I know that came from Kimberly, and I value Kimberly's incredible connection. And that a new 8-year period's going to start. Like my period, I never thought about it, but my period started 8 years ago this month on the 30th. Somebody else I heard in the comments said the same thing. They started at the same time. But you're saying there's a second wave, a second 8-year wave, and so this is almost like second generation, and that this is part of the reason that the Blu-rays are stepping up, are speaking out, is because these folks will need some assistance.
Yes, on all counts. I was in an 8-year cycle, and this next level may only be like a couple years for many of them.
Oh, okay.
And yes, now the Blu-rays are going to be asked to step up, but you're going to be asked to step up a little bit differently than you were last time. Before it was more. It was more that you had to do. It's good. it's like easier. It's going to be
Yeah.
easier. And it's going to be easier in that just what you were saying is that you're going to have to be just a little bit more expanded, a little bit more accepting. Some of your spiritual perceptions that you thought a little bit more open, and you're going to have to, what they're also asking you is to bring the pieces together.
Yeah.
To start aligning and bringing the pieces together. They're also asking just more on this. You got to be firmly within the sacred divine feminine. Of even more, you're going to have sometimes to have even more greater compassion and love.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sometimes just not do something. Sometimes you're not going to need to actually do something. You're going to have to like just be there.
Yeah. Don't
sometimes
react.
You're going to have to be the presence.
Yeah. Just
You're
hold
going to have.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be the one, yes, to hold the sacred space.
Yeah. Not to, because I think we're going to see some of that, because you like you said, there's two different realms, two different experiences, two different, whatever you want to call it. And that's very real. That's that great divide. And so there has been, and there will continue to be, there is no right or wrong, but attacks, because that's what the light does. It just casts light on the shadow, and we have to hold that space and not react.
Yes, and you're going to sometimes through this higher compassion and a higher light, and it's all at this area. So this is a real area of the higher heart. It's an energy center that has been opening, and it's a real alignment within. It's like our ascension bodies, and by focusing on this energy of the higher heart, you can transcend a lot of things. There's going to be times where you're going to have to hold the field, because the thing is you're already there.
Yeah.
You've done the work, and you can hold the field now, and that's, I think they want to share that.
Yeah.
You're there. You know that you the ones know that you're there.
Yeah.
And you did all this work so that you could hold the field.
Yeah.
So that you could hold the sacred space. Holding the field. This is the step up now.
That's the step up. The step up is
that makes sense. It's going to be in different ways.
Yeah.
On different levels. Sometimes you're going to be in a certain situation to be that anchor, because the other people aren't able to do it.
They're going to be tripping out.
You're going to be able to do it. And sometimes you're going to do this beautiful thing, and it's so important to see each other.
Yeah.
You got a power. You got a great power right now. And that power is you go in this space and you go into the power of the universe that supports you. And the pure cosmic energy of light. Because the pure cosmic energy of light is real. And you are in that space. And you got to see people. Sometimes people are going to need help.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're not going to talk to them. You're not going to be in their physical presence. And sometimes you will. But you're going to have to come from here, and what you're going to be asked for is to see who that person really is.
Yeah.
Beyond their stuff. And you'll know you're going to get to a certain frequency. And you can start by looking, because they may be doing some things that you don't like, or that are hurtful.
Yeah.
But you got to find something that's good about them.
Yeah.
And expand upon it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to get into their higher self, their true soul essence. Yeah. And then you expand upon that, and you help that person. And you hold that field. It's like you see another person.
Yeah.
That is going to become a new way that we're going to start relating to each other. And it's also going to become like a technology almost, to being able to see each other.
Yeah.
And what that does for each other. Now we really haven't, Todd. And it can be an intimate thing. It can be intimate and vulnerable to do this. But let me tell you, this is what you've worked on. You've worked here to get here. Yeah. This is raising your frequency. This is vitally important. And sometimes another human being, they have never been seen in their life. And when you can see them, and when you can hold that field, sometimes for even a small moment, you change everything for them. And you change things for yourself. Those are some of the things. And these are the things that you've been trained to do.
Yeah.
And you're beautiful at this. Todd, this is something that the Blueray and the Sacred Divine Feminine, we're wonderful at this. You know, and we haven't been able to do it. Like, we haven't been able to even do that part of our mission. That's a part of our mission. It's like our expression that we need to do as well. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We need to express that as well. We need to be that.
Yeah.
To hold that field and see that other person.
Yeah.
And because there's something that happens to us as well when we do that. We rise.
That's right.
In our field.
That's right.
We become stronger, divine, powerful spiritual beings.
It's like if there is some type of conflict, we have to be in a space where we can see both sides equally, without bias, without judgment. See, like you said, see if it's something as simple as finding something positive on one side that maybe you don't resonate with, and then finding that positive and expanding on it, because we're seeing them either through the fear or the conditioning or whatever, or we're seeing them at this higher aligned state, and that's the vibration we need to hold. That's, like you said, why we came here. I think that's a great explanation. All that shadow work, I guess, was the work to allow us to do that, maybe, to allow us to
Some
stay
of
in
it.
this space and
Some
hold
of it.
this space. Yeah.
And to be the frequency, to be the resonancy, and to be the emergence with the higher beings.
Yeah.
I just heard them say, I love you. And they're telling me, they told me to download, but they told me those words, and they were saying, sometimes that's all it takes. If you're somewhere, because it's not like I haven't experienced some of these things recently.
Yeah.
Some negativity.
Yeah. Me too, just a little bit.
So, but even in your own being, you just say, I love you.
Yeah.
And all you gotta do is I mean it. Because you may be, okay.
That's good advice.
This is being a grid worker. This is being a grid worker. It's like going to this particular store and this particular situation happening, and you needed to say that to that person.
Yeah.
And that will change the course of their life.
Yeah.
Because they may have just one little shift of the thought that shifts them to do something a little differently and changes everything. That's how you're also a grid worker.
Yeah.
Is by tuning into that. Tuning into that. But that was something that the beings just told me. They said, I love you.
That's it. That's great advice, because we get into these situations, and the more we analyze it, the more we simmer in it, marinate in it, potentially the worse it gets. You know, potentially the probability increases of us getting further engaged in it, and therefore getting away from our divine presence. But it's divine presence. Just to step out of the 3D paradigm and pull that person in front of you and just say, I love you, and then move on.
Yes.
You've left in that state and you maintained your state. And like you said, when you do that, you actually expand.
And you don't necessarily even have to verbalize it.
Exactly.
You say it silently, because that's what they're telling me. And this is what I'm just hearing is that, but do it from a state from realness. Like,
absolutely.
I love you. And when you do it, what happens is you come, because sometimes you come out of your body, you're out of yourself, and your energy starts to kind of frazzle backwards. But if you say, I love you, and you center yourself, you center your own self, and you center them. And you know what they just told me? they told me that because of the Ho'oponopono,
Yeah.
because so many people all over the world have been doing the Ho'oponopono, that is, we have evolved, and it has evolved.
Yeah.
The Ho'oponopono now is, you can say the Ho'oponopono just by saying, I love you.
Yeah.
It's coming from the state, just, I love you. Or silently just going,
yeah,
when something happens, but being in your own space, that does it that quick, because we've evolved that whole I love you, forgive me, thank you.
Yeah.
Into that can be that in that instant, and you can change things. Well,
yeah.
Todd, that just came in.
That's good stuff, man. Well, something always comes in when we're. I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to see if there was a transmission, but it already came in, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
But so we still got like 15 minutes. So if there's anything you want to do or talk about, that you want to convey to the brothers and sisters, or anything you want to offer up, it's up to you. Whatever you feel, whatever resonates with you, or them, or your team. Yeah.
I want to share about something that you said, and then I may come in with a transmission. You were talking about the ETs, our star family, our galactic family, and so that hasn't changed. This is what I'm trying to do my best. What I've seen and where we're going is there's going to be more of a collective of different aspects all working together for you and for your ascension.
Mm.
Because I think that's kind of what ascension is. Because we are not just this or that.
Right.
We're just not, I'm just not a star being or an angel, an angelic. I'm a Syrian being, and I'm a Blueray, and I'm connected to the crystals, and I have many aspects of myself and dimensions. And so it's not going to be solely just the galactics. And it's not solely, and disclosure is not solely going to happen in that way.
Right.
And that's what's important. And when I was saying about you're going to be asked to step up, that's what I mean too. You know, if some have been so focused on, we got to get disclosure and we got to get this information out, and the only way we're going to ascend and anything's going to happen is unless, that government or that person or whatever, that institution admits that there's this or there's that. We got to get the disclosure. That's going to be ascension.
No.
So
I don't think so.
What I want to share is that it's going to happen in different avenues.
Yeah.
And if you focus completely only on that one way, then you shut yourself down from all of this other divine, let's say, disclosure that's going to be taking place, that's happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know this, and I'm understanding this so much more now. The movement, the ascension, is happening through us.
Yeah.
We're the divine directors of the ascension.
Yeah. True.
The higher beings.
There are support teams
supporting us.
Yeah. We're doing the work.
But they don't even know how it's going to actually turn out.
Exactly.
Because it's depending upon us. And so there's many avenues and there's many directions, like the dragons. The dragons, they're really making their appearance now. And some of the mythical beings. That is important, and now those connections are as important. And the ETs and the galactics.
Yeah. That's disclosure. The
Yes.
mythical beings and the dragons and the elementals and the Sasquatch elders and the fairies.
Yes.
That's
All,
disclosure. Yeah.
all of it collectively. So that's what you're going to be asked to do. You're going to ask to be a little bit more open to just, instead of this right here, open it up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because then what's going to happen is all those aspects are all going to be working simultaneously, collectively together. This is what I'm experiencing. There, you know, back when I was like, this year I'm not connected. I don't. There's the big conference, the ET conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's Contact in the Desert.
Yeah.
Last year or the year before, I was like, oh yeah, I'd like to go to that. This year I'm like, have no interest.
Right.
I'm just totally not interested in it. There was a time when I was really connected to the galactic ETs. Now there's still a part of me. However, I'm working with these other beings. Now I'm working now with Christos. I'm working with Christos. I'm working with Sophia. We're merging. Sophia's merging with me. Christos, Archangel Michael. I became a part of the angelic community,
Mm-hmm.
which was beautiful. I'm working with the crystals,
Yeah.
and I didn't think I was going to become crystal. I was going to become a crystal. I didn't think that I was going to become part of the Devic community. I didn't like. We're like one.
Yeah.
This was not in my scope of things. So this is what we're being asked to do, and they're telling me it's not going to be hard.
No.
It's not going to be hard, but just in disclosure, I wish we even had a different word for it, is going to be happening on all the levels and all the layers and all the dimensions, and every single one of us is in the midst of it.
Yeah. We're the directors.
We are. We completely are.
Yeah.
We have so much more power than we realize, and especially the empath.
Yeah.
Because you're a resonator. So many times I think that the empath, they don't think they have a lot of power because they're so sensitive. They're picking up stuff. And it is a grand divinity power. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, without it, humanity becomes, you're here because you've got a timeline. You're reconnecting those empathic ley lines to all of nature and all these divine connections. Because without it, humanity becomes mute of emotion.
Yeah.
Becomes mute of joy. And humanity becomes a technological society. Humanity becomes the grays. That's what happens. That's a timeline. That's why we see it. That's why we see those grays, Todd.
Yeah.
I was told that a long time ago. I was told that so long ago before I could even say it. I didn't even share those kind of things because that was very offensive. Would be very hurtful for people, even New Age spiritual people, to know that. But it's like that's it. That's the download that I get. It's a timeline, and a lot of these beings that we see, they've come back from the future.
Yeah. They've
come back so that we can go on, do this timeline. They don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that. That's why you're so valuable. That's why you're so important. I mean, that you're beloved. You're beloved, gorgeous beyond. This empath resonance. And I'm part of to tell you that.
Yeah.
To share that with you. And home frequency is alive and here on the planet as well. We just got to be open to, we have to be more and more open to the home frequency. Allowing it to come on the planet. And do you know how important that is?
Yeah.
We have to allow home frequency back within us and see it and accept it so that we will not want to come to this beautiful place. Everybody wants to come here. Everybody wants to come down here to Mother Earth Gaia and be a part of this. Instead, because so many beings want to leave. They're like, I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to go home, I want to go home. You will go. This is what I promise you. Every single one of you are going to go home at some point or another. You're going to go home. It's going to happen. But my goddess, while you're here, let me tell you, show up.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
And this ascension and this flash and all these things, no. It's not in the future. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Show up right now as best as you can.
Excellent.
That's home frequency, Todd.
I agree. I agree. Shekina Rose, ShekinaRose.com. And you just put out a video on YouTube, Blueray.
I put up the Blueray Wanders. I put some information and beautiful pictures of Sedona. I'm gonna start sharing some more, Todd, in different ways and different avenues. Yes.
Very good. Very good. That's part of that pulling it together you were talking about, pulling them all together.
Yes.
I see others doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yes.
So how can people best get in touch with you? I'm going to put the links. The link to ShekinaRose.com is up, but I think there's a couple other links that you have.
Go to ShekinaRose.com. That's my website. And if you want to look at any of the pretties, the technologies, and sometimes just looking at them will give you an activation. Just push on the store, and go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, Shekina Rose YouTube, because I have so many videos out of this place, of the Sedona, and I'm bringing in a transmission in the song, and that's part of my service. That's for you. That's for you, to absorb and to enjoy and to make sacred connections. So please go there as well. I'm in Sedona. Sometimes I do see people in person. You'd have to email me on that. And and remember to be supportive, and to remember to be generous. Yeah. That's really important. And be supportive to Todd. He's doing amazing work. He's pulling us together, and he's working all the time. So please be generous, and even smaller amounts, larger amounts, whatever that you feel. If this has inspired you and this has connected you in some way, please be generous and be supportive, because that support keeps coming back. The support keeps coming back. When you put it out, it comes back. Yeah. And I thank you for your support too. I think all the people that have been really supportive of the Blueray, it just touched my heart. All the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you so very much for that. And thank you, Todd.
And thank you. And thank everybody for showing up. And
yes, thank you.
Yeah, let's all continue to pay it forward. Gifting is the 5D commerce, gifting, paying it forward. It's based on the honor system. And it does come back, especially now. It's coming back instantly. If we're aligned, I have to believe after all this time, there's, like you were saying, there's many more people aligned than every day. I mean, it's growing rapidly. Thank you, Shekina. It's good seeing you.
So good seeing you.
Take care. Tell Kimberly I said hello, and everybody else over there.
I will. I love you.
Love you too. You take care.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.